Welcome to Providence Academy, a unique jewel in our Vancouver community. It contains 7,000 square feet of community gathering and office space and is the site of many weddings, receptions, meetings, and other private events throughout the year. Approximately 100 people come to work here every day. The iconic silhouette of its bell tower, with a view of the confluence of the Willamette and Columbia Rivers, has been a part of Vancouver's skyline for over 140 years. Yet not many people know the story of its designer, builder, and founder, Mother Joseph, and the other Sisters of Providence who made such an impact on the Pacific Northwest and in the West. In 1856, 5 Sisters of Providence were sent by their religious order, headquartered in Montreal, to Vancouver to serve the local spiritual, educational, and healthcare needs. The populace at the time was composed primarily of personnel associated with Fort Vancouver, including the British and French Canadian employees of the Hudson's Bay Company, plus U.S. Army staff, Chinookan peoples, and about 400 settlers. The sisters traveled from Quebec via New York City, Jamaica, Panama, Acapulco, and San Francisco to finally reach Vancouver on December 8th in what was still Washington Territory. After arrival, the sisters occupied shared and temporary housing until the following February, when they moved into a small, newly constructed wooden convent made in part from lumber scrap from Fort Vancouver. Almost immediately, the sisters began taking care of the physically and mentally ill, orphans, the indigent, and the elderly, as well as setting up a school under the leadership of Mother Joseph of the Sacred Heart. Various buildings on the St. James Mission site on the U.S. Military Reserve and the property they acquired in downtown Vancouver proved insufficient for their expansive vision of service and steadily growing needs for education, healthcare, and social services. Relentless fundraising was necessary for all the mission work. Arduous trips to far-flung mining camps were made by the sisters over several years, specifically to seek support for construction of a flagship building for the western branch of their order, called the House of Providence. Tenacity paid off with a groundbreaking in 1873 for a new 3-story Georgian Revival edifice made of bricks supplied by Vancouver's Hidden Brick Company. The sisters, the orphans, and the students moved into the attic of the unfinished building in 1874. The House of Providence, later called Providence Academy, housed kindergarten through 12th grade education for thousands of students over the years. The sisters branched out to create 32 other health and education ministries throughout the western United States and Canada. This work is the genesis of the now expansive Providence Health and Services Network, community hospitals, and continuing schools. Providence Academy is one of only 3 buildings remaining which exhibit the design influence of Mother Joseph. A testament to hard work and faith, the unique building retains many of the original architectural features, including Providence Hall, affectionately called the Ballroom with its distinctive faux marble columns, and the 2-story ornate Gothic Revival Chapel, which opened in 1883. The final class of graduating seniors passed through the portals in 1966. The school remained empty for a few years prior to being purchased by Robert Hidden, the grandson of the maker of the original bricks. The Hidden family turned the building into a commercial venture, which they operated for 46 years. The Historic Trust purchased the property in 2015 to preserve its history and to make that heritage more available to the public while continuing to provide commercial space to the community. Mother Joseph was a faithful, dedicated, and generous person who was also an imposing figure in the community. Yet she was humble and self-effacing about her many accomplishments. She passed away at the age of 74 in 1902 in her private quarters next to the Academy's chapel. Surrounded by her sisters and in the company of the bishop at her death, she reminded all that the purpose of their work was to serve the poor. She was greatly respected and admired as a person during her life and remains so to this day. She is buried in Vancouver's Mother Joseph Cemetery with a grave marker that is identical to those of her other sisters. Mother Joseph is memorialized in Statuary Hall in the U.S. Capitol as one of the 2 figures allowed to every state to represent its important history.